Jamie, speaking of contracts, one of the specialties that we focus on through our firm at Lake Growth is high cash value whole life insurance as an insurance contract to building wealth outside of 401ks, IRAs, that sort of thing, and annuities, which are insurance contracts as well. So annuities provide that longevity risk solution. Would you describe in your own mind, what are some strategies that folks that may or may not be familiar with either of those two things I just said, and any other creative, not so average financial strategies that you've come across?
Yeah, well, we can stick to those two and tie them back to the risks that we talked about here today. So, I mean, a couple things there, right? Or I guess the hedges on this around myself. I don't sell products, right? So it's always good for people to know that ahead of time. So I'm not here to sell you a product or a strategy, but give you different ways to think about it, perhaps. When I was hired at my firm, somebody actually wrote to our president, Aaron Shaven, and said, "Oh, you're hiring that annuity guy." I'm actually very product agnostic. I look at strategies and research, and I say, "Hey, what fits different needs?" And it's just funny that somebody said that, because I've also had people say, "Well, that guy, he helps RIAs and never really do annuities." And so it's funny hearing both. But so when we talk about longevity, we talk about Social Security, we talk about pensions, lifetime income. Annuities are built to create income, right? That's the purpose. If you took a finance class, you probably only learned about the basic annuity. Put this in, this payout rate pays your life, some calculator that you tapped into. And that was your experience with annuities. Well, they can get much more complex than that, but at the core, annuities are ways to create some systematic flow of income from an insurance product. I mean, that's at their core why they were created. And when you think about longevity, there's only a couple ways to create lifetime income, annuities being one of them. So if that's one of your goals, that you're worried about how long you're going to live, you want some secure level of paychecks coming in, look at annuities. They can fill into that role. Now, annuities can be used in a lot of different ways. I've talked about this particular strategy a lot, is thinking about, right, your fixed income. So that's your bonds, your CDs, those things we've talked about already, low interest rates. Consider fixed income as a total asset class and include certain types of annuities in there. So sometimes you might say, hey, I want this X amount of return from this dollar without downside risk in the market. And can I get a better return using a fixed index annuity product for that time period than I can using a bond ladder today? And the answer a lot of times is yes, right? And it's totally, I don't care what you call the product, it's product agnostic. It's just, what is my return for the same level of risk? And there's great research. Roger Ibbotson's probably been the leader in that particular example of replacing bonds or CDs with an annuity for that level of risk and return. So I often tell advisors to consider that. So then you mentioned also life insurance. Life insurance is, I think at its core, right, what's the purpose of life insurance? It's essentially to ensure the loss of income at some point. However, life insurance has a second feature, at least whole life, permanent life, can have, right, a tax advantage in essence, savings component to it or investing component, depending on the type of policy. And that can be used strategically. It's a good, it's a strong value proposition that isn't there with every other type of product strategy. There's been nice research kind of in multiple different areas on life insurances. One, actually paying life insurance can be viewed as a way to create forced or automatic savings, which from a behavioral standpoint has some benefits like buying a house. You can have the death benefit, which is great, protecting family, going back to the story about losing my father at a young age. And then, you can also create some tax diversification. That's probably where we get to when thinking about where public policy risk is today. Having after-tax money, having long-term capital style money, having pre-tax salary deferred money, having money in a Roth account, having money in an annuity that might be deferred, or life insurance policy. So, could laws change and change annuity taxation? Sure. Could it not change, though, and leave life insurance alone? Yeah, possibly. Could Roth change? Sure. Could, the 401k tax-deferred rules change? Yes. So what we mean by tax diversification is I don't know where any of this public policy is going. We can't predict that. And so what we do is we diversify like we would anywhere else. And if I have money in different buckets, different investments, different strategies, I am reducing the risk that a single public policy change would, change the tax implications across the board for me. So most people, I just ask them this though. Then there's a book, you might have it. I've got it somewhere behind me too, Power of Zero.
Oh yeah.
Back there somewhere on the, right? It's in here somewhere. I don't know where it is, but an argument there is, do you think tax rates are going up? If you believe tax rates are going up, don't have your money in taxable stuff. Get it away from taxable things, right? Move it to life insurance, move it to Roth, move it to after tax. Get it away from rising tax rates. So if you believe that, then act upon your beliefs. If you think your tax rates are going down in the future, fine, then act in accordance with that. But in the same level, do you know which way they're going? Most people would say, well, I don't really know. I'm taking educated, right, guess. Well, then let's diversify that risk. Have a little bit of money, it's okay if tax rates go down. Have a little bit of money, it's okay if tax rates go up. And that's tax diversification at its core. I think most people today believe that tax rates are going up. So, however, I would probably tell you if we went back to 2010 and I asked people, do you think tax rates will go up between now and 2020? Everyone would have said, of course, tax rates are going up. And actually, tax rates went down from 2010 to 2020. So
the mystery of policy. Yeah, fascinating. You're right. What's the old quote? Prediction is very difficult, especially when it involves the future. Something like that.
Yep.
So Jamie, this is fantastic. I know you've got to go. Thank you for your time today. This is awesome. It does feel like we're peering into the future when we talk with you. So thank you so much for all you do. Not just for today in our audience, but for the advisors around the country and the people that you're serving, literally helping folks meet their financial goals and objectives without having to sit behind a desk and do advisory work. You are advising in many ways. Speaking of, we can find you at, let's see, jamiehopkins.com. Jamie, that's Jamie, Hopkins.com. Or you guys can follow Jamie at Retirement Risks on Twitter. And we both agreed that that's a great handle on Twitter, worth probably at least a couple bucks, if you ever decide to sell the handle, I guess. So, Jamie, thank you. Any final words of wisdom for our audience today?
The final word of wisdom is just, be proactive on your planning, right? Nobody's going to take care of your financial planning for you. You need to, so be proactive, get a plan in place. And that's what it starts with. What do you want to accomplish, and engage in the planning?
Love it. Jamie, thanks for all you do. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
All right.